Hey fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I'm Michael Pachter, your host. I am hopeful that you are watching this real time because you are either a SIFTD subscriber or you have taken the time to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. You do that, then Amazon will pay, and you pay nothing. It's all included as part of your Amazon Prime membership. So please try to remember to do that. If you're a YouTube subscriber, we appreciate the subscription. If you are none of these things, then you're watching this a week late, and that's because I insist, because I don't get paid. I want to make sure you guys get the product. Shane needs to pay for the product, so it takes him a while to edit this stuff and gas to get out here and film this thing. So appreciate it if you can support us. If not, we understand. Okay, today's question from Twitter from @VRJames. According to Sony, PlayStation VR 2 sold 600,000 units in its first 6 weeks. It's outsold the first PSVR to this point. Does that surprise you? Has it changed your outlook on its prospects? What about Apple Vision Pro now that it's been unveiled? What about MetaQuest 3? It's a tide finally turning for VR. Look at the Sony chart, because when they announced it, they put out a chart, and it was like 500,000 the first week, and then 50,000, 20,000, 40, 30, 20, 10. If you look at the chart, I'm exaggerating, but they had a big spike, and then you saw a drop off of units. So as you see, the build up to 600,000. As you look at it, I'd say they're lucky if they're selling 10,000 a week right now, because the early demand were the people who knew about it and were waiting. And remember, you had to sign up at PlayStation to get it at PlayStation.com. So I think the thing's going to sell 500,000 a year. So no, I'm not surprised that the first early demand was high, because they kind of made it high. No, I have not changed my outlook on the prospects. They'll sell 1 million this year and maybe 500,000 next year, and then they'll probably discontinue the thing in the third year. What about Apple Vision Pro now that it's been unveiled? $3,500. Need I say more? If PlayStation VR is at $550, at PlayStation VR at $550 plus a $500 PlayStation is going to sell 1 million units. How many is Apple Vision Pro going to sell at $3,500? And the answer is 1 million units. I mean, to be fair, there are a bunch of Apple fanboys out there. I think the Apple fanboys are going to buy 1 million a year, maybe 2, maybe 10. But the odds of it having PlayStation type sales, 15 million a year for 10 years, no way. No chance is that selling 150 million. So in the $3,500 prototype, if you're me, you're going to wait until it's $500, which is going to be 5 years and maybe more. And so the question is, who's going to develop for it if there's not a big installed base? And the good news is, Apple, with its hundreds of billions of dollars of profit each year, can afford to just give developers whatever the hell it takes. So they can fund $100 million games for that thing, and they can fund 100 of them if they want, and spend $10 billion a year, because that's kind of what Facebook spent with Meta and MetaQuest. And there might be content. So this is chicken and egg. No one's buying a $3,500 device without content, and nobody's making content for an installed base of 10,000 or 100,000. So Apple's going to have to get that money into the hands of developers to do it. I think they have a chance. Sony's not that company. They're just not going to subsidize game development. They're going to hope people create VR experiences. VR for them is an afterthought. MetaQuest 3 getting better, but do you trust Facebook? It's like, here's the cost of MetaQuest 2. Oh, we changed our mind. We're raising the price. I don't even know what that thing is now. Facebook, Meta can't figure out what the hell they're doing on the pricing. I do think 300 is the right price point. 500 is not. 3,500 is not. But I say that, a MacBook, Pro laptop is like $1,500, and a regular Dell laptop is like $500, and Apple still manages to sell 15% of laptops. So there's enough people who will pay up because it's Apple and they love the whole concept. I'm not sure there's a lot going on with Vision Pro that'll work with other Apple products. I'm not sure that you can do emails or spreadsheeting or your music. I mean, theoretically, you will be able to play your music on it because it's got a headset built in. But I think it's pricey. The tide finally turning for VR. VR needs a killer app. The killer app has been games because no one else can figure out how to make it work. I would expect Apple will do a much better job with medicine, with like healthcare, with conducting a physical, with with a MetaQuest. I'm sorry, with a Vision Pro headset. I really think Apple is a much more innovative company than Facebook, and a much more innovative company than Sony, and will come up with applications. And I think that there's lots and lots of corporations who want to partner with Apple, hence Disney showing up at the press conference. But no, I think VR is still being widespread 5 to 10 years away, more like 10. So no, I don't think that the tide has turned yet. And PlayStation VR is not going to lead it. MetaQuest, because the price is sort of right, and Apple because it's Apple, but not when that thing gets to 500 and everybody else at 300, then I think the tide for VR is going to turn. The good news is, though, if you build a VR game, theoretically it'll work on MetaQuest and Apple Vision Pro. If you can make a product that works on all of them and PlayStation VR, if you can make a game that works on all of them, now you're suddenly looking at the combined install base. And I get that it might be porting costs of a couple $1 million to make that work. But theoretically, if one has 5 million installed base, another has 10, another has 2, you have a big enough audience you can make it work. The Vision Pro, what's interesting about it to me is it's mixed reality. It's got AR and VR, and I think that's cool. I'm not putting a headset on and running around the street to play Pokemon Go. I'm totally fine looking at my phone. But those are the kinds of experiences I think that will be created for it first, and that might be good. And again, Apple's proven from Apple TV Plus, they're willing to spend billions of dollars to create content for a service that nobody really pays for. They just raised the price of mine. I was paying, went from $50 a year to $70, and I still think it's a bargain. There's enough on there; it's worth $70 a year. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you're a Patreon patron, thank you so much. If you have managed to link your Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime accounts together, we're getting paid, so thank you very much. And if you're a YouTube subscriber, we appreciate it. I should say Shane appreciates it. If you can do none of those things, I insist that you get it free because I am not getting paid. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter, and I'm happy to give you a shout out if you guilt me into it. I'll see you guys next time.